Hey guys, let's make some granola today. So, this recipe I've been making for about 12, 15 years now. I grew up with a lot of siblings and it was one of our favorites growing up. And now that I am older and married, it's also my immediate family's favorite. My kids love it, my husband loves it. It never lasts in this house when I make it. So, let me show you how to do it. So, in a large bowl, we'll do about 8 cups of oats. I was thinking about some of my coworkers today as I was making this and just, wanting to share this batch of granola with them. So I went ahead and kind of doubled the recipe. But I normally don't make it this big at all. But I just thought I'll be nice today. And then once you have your oats ready, we'll go ahead and add 3 cups of flour to this. And then coconut is one of the main ingredients. So we'll grab about 4 cups of coconut, shredded coconut. It can be sweet or unsweetened, it don't matter. And then today I'm adding pecans. I don't always add pecans to this recipe, but every now and then when I have, a little bit of nuts laying around that I'm not going to use, I'll just add it to that. So chop these up nice and fine. Even though it's already said chopped, I'll go ahead and just chop it up a little finer and then add it here because you don't want to bite into a huge chunk of pecans. And then grab you some spices. I usually just do cinnamon and nutmeg. I love nutmeg. It's one of my favorite spices. I used to really enjoy grinding these for my biological mother growing up. She owned a little restaurant and would always bake. And I loved grinding them up for her. But anyway, go ahead and mix this up nicely. Every oat needs to be coated, like all of it. Set that aside, and in a pot, you want to melt 6. I know there's 5, but 6 sticks of butter. Make sure the butter is nice and melted, and then we will add brown sugar. It can be light or dark, it does not matter. I did 4.5 cups of brown sugar. I believe there wasn't a whole lot left in that bag, and I just went ahead and poured all of it in here. You want it nice and, I guess, coated or nice and melted so that the butter and the sugar kind of merge together and you don't have a whole lot of butter sitting on top. Baking soda is the star of this show. This is where the crunch comes from in the granola. So you want to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of baking soda. And I am using my hands because I wanted to break up all the clumps that are in the baking soda. So do that, stir it up nicely, and then we'll take it to the stove until it starts to look something like this. You want to mix this up on the stove. It will become nice and foamy, just like that. Once it starts looking like this, everything's melted and it's cooking just fine. You want to add vanilla extract. I did about a teaspoon of vanilla extract over here. And just, let that thing do its thing. If you're doing this on the stove, you will hear a little sizzle, but I'm not on the stove right now, so let it do its thing, stir it up nicely, and then we are going to divide the granola. Because I made a lot, like I said, you can either store the other batch of oats and coconut or whatever for the next time you make granola, which is normally what I would do. I would just, store the other batch and then divide this whole recipe in half and only do half of everything. And then that way I will have cut down my granola making process in half by the next time. So over here we added the wet ingredient to the dry, and we are going to mix like there is no tomorrow. And you don't want your granola to be super clumpy, because if it is super clumpy, that means it's going to be hard when it comes out, because that baking soda is going to solidify once it cools. You know what I'm saying? The butter is going to melt, the baking soda, all of that is Yeah, so don't make it clumpy. Make sure it's nice and loose. And then once it's in the tray, you want to pack it down. I mean, pack it down. Yeah. And this is also where you would get the little clumps when you break up the granola or once it becomes cool. I went ahead and set my oven to 350 and I baked the granola for about 10 minutes on one side and then I pulled it out and flipped it. I did this process about 3 times. So, you know, if your oven bakes super high, maybe turn down the temperature to about 325 or something like that, or keep it at 350 but bake it for less. So I baked this for about, I think, maybe 35-40 minutes. And yeah, and once that was done, you let it cool and you just go ahead and do what you do with granola. You eat it, I guess. But it usually lasts us about 2 weeks in this house. I like to eat mine with plain yogurt. I might add a little bit of honey on top if it's not, super sweet. And then I'll add some berries. But yeah, guys, this is how I make my granola. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. At least for me, I like to think it is. Yeah, but anyway, keep some of the big clumps in there with the granola because you don't want everything to be super, super tiny. Unless you do. You do you, you know? But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you like this. And if you do like this, I might start posting some more recipes. You guys let me know in the comments. Bye.